Hello and welcome to episode 2 of 5 in our What is Neurodiversity mini-series. Today we're looking at strengths versus challenges and why a balanced view on this matters. In episode 1, we introduce you to what neurodiversity is and why language matters. And following on from that, we'll look at the strengths and challenges. In episode 3, we'll move into practical ways to support neurodivergent people at work. And the goal of this series is simple: helping others to understand why we need to talk more about neurodiversity, why understanding matters, and why it's so important in the workplace. So my name's Adrian Thomas, and I'm from the Resilience and Wellbeing Company, and we want each person to thrive at work and beyond, because everyone faces different challenges. Before we jump in, do what you need to do to feel comfortable, safe, and ready to learn. So a quick reminder as we start this part: different doesn't mean broken. It often just means that we work differently. And too often, neurodivergent individuals are judged by the challenges that they face. In this session, we want you to notice the strengths that everybody brings to the table. And you might hold on to this phrase: just because a PlayStation can't play an Xbox game, it doesn't mean that it's broken. And what we know is learning more helps us to challenge those misunderstandings. And we need a culture shift to look beyond social norms so that we recognize the benefits of brains that are wired differently. And in work terms, this is what our neurodiversity training supports: practical ways to understand those differences, to reduce assumptions, and to support strengths day to day. So following on from what we've just covered there, let's focus on those strengths. In our training, we explore 7 common neurotypes and how they may impact somebody. What's important, though, is that we focus on starting with what a person can do by understanding their strengths. In the workplace, a strengths-led approach helps people to do their best, to work well, to feel valued, and to thrive. So picking up on the previous slide, here's one specific learning difference: dysgraphia. It's neurological and it affects people's written expression, often handwriting, spelling, or organizing their thoughts in the written communication. And it's not linked to intelligence, it's more about those fine motor skills and language processing. So writing can feel slow, it can be really tiring, and it becomes easy to avoid for that person. In the workplace, recognizing this helps us offer practical solutions, templates, speech to text options, or more time to complete a task, so that people can show their strengths without being held back by handwriting or written output barriers. And because there's less handwriting now, the impact can often be hidden, but it still matters for awareness, especially where executive functioning challenges show up. For those with dysgraphia, the strengths that are often present, though, include being really great listeners. They're often creatives and amazing storytellers, and they often have the really strong ability to recall factual information. And by focusing on those strengths, think about how much an organization can benefit. So following on from that, what we want you to do is picture neurodiversity as a mixing desk, not a fixed line. At work, it shifts us towards adjusting support and environments instead of expecting the person to just simply cope. Don't think of neurodiversity as a line and everybody sits somewhere on. Instead, think of it like a mixing desk. And the support is like moving the sliders to the optimum output. When the environment is set to the correct levels, people can have amazing ideas and be creative. Don't expect the individual, though, to know all the support that they may need. Self-awareness is a really great skill that many adults don't actually have. And so it's unrealistic to expect people to know exactly what they need in any environment. For example, someone who finds reading a challenge may have no idea that reducing visual stress will make that reading easier. If someone needs to move about to get input into their body to help them perceive location, movement, or parts of their own body, what part of the mixing desk can be moved to allow that person or that thing to happen? And mixing desks it isn't something that's static. You can't place an individual on a line purely depending on that behavior that they've displayed at a certain point in the past. It has an infinite number of outcomes and possibilities for success. But if the buttons aren't pushed or they're in the wrong direction and don't match somebody's needs, then the output won't be desirable. For every neurodivergent person, indeed every human, they have their own mixing desk. The big difference is that neurodivergent individuals may need some help to mix that desk to the best possible outcomes. What's really important is that we don't try to change that individual. We change the environment to allow a person to work towards their strengths. So I just want to say thank you for your time and attention as we wrap up episode 2. But here's a bit of a headline for you again. Small actions, repeated, shape culture. And what I'd really like you to take away from this is that inclusion isn't a badge. It's a practice where we focus on strengths in the workplace so that small repeated actions can build trust, reduce friction, and help different minds to be their best and to do their best work. I really appreciate you being part of building workplaces that are safer, fairer, and better for well-being. And if you want to support turning this into everyday habits, explore our neurodiversity training. Our next episode is going to be the 7 most common neurotypes and a little bit of myth busting. I look forward to seeing you there.